Okay, so here's the fine line between stupid and clever idea of the day is I'm going to make a travel guitar that is lightweight but full-sized, that's essentially disposable. So what I did is I picked up I think it was 50, 60 bucks Epiphone Les Paul Special. These things are all over Facebook Marketplace for very cheap. I think these were packaged like during the pandemic and were Epiphone's entry-level electric guitars. I think they sold a bunch of them. But what I want to do is, I love the shape of the Les Paul. I just want something to practice on a Les Paul with Les Paul scale, but I don't want the heft and the weight of it, and I'm not going to plug it in. So I'm going to carve out the body and eliminate the main wood in the middle of the body, leaving the central wood and the ridges for the body shape. We're going to take that out. We're going to see how much weight I can lose out of it, and we're going to wire it up with a piezo pickup and eliminate the pickups. So why not? Should be fun. So I've mapped out on my body where I'm going to cut here. I'm leaving the center section and the posts for the bridge and the tailpiece. I'm going to drill some rather large holes at these corners just with a straight drill, so it's a big enough hole for me to get my jigsaw in. I'm going to cut it out with a jigsaw.
So as I'm watching this time lapse, and if you've been following any of my videos recently, you'll find out that I seem to have this tendency to want to destroy perfectly good guitars. That may not be your gig, but at least it might be fun to watch.
Cutting that out was neither fun nor exciting, and multiple times I thought it was going to break with the jigsaw, but as you can see now, the body weighs 2 pounds, 5.7 ounces. So lost a little bit of weight, and I think it looks pretty cool. Now I'm going to get out my drum sander and clean up the edges, and then I'm thinking I'm even going to round off the top edges with a router. So before I move on to the drum sander, I'm going to take my long drill bit here, and I'm going to drill me a route, a long hole from the end pin here to the pickup cavity. And that's so I can later install my end pin jack in the back end here, since I'm not going to be using the wiring jack on the side, because that would look kind of weird with wires and stuff coming out. So that's got to be a careful drilling all the way down without messing up and staying straight.
So after drilling the long hole for the wiring for the pickup, I then used consecutively larger drill bits to drill out the end pin big enough for the end pin jack. Next up, I took the body down to my drum sander, where I rounded out and cleaned up the rough cuts from the jigsaw.
So here's what I've got so far. Cleaned up the inside routings pretty nicely with the jigsaw. Left a lot of jagged areas, but it's a little rough and hewn and stuff. I like it though. I rounded off the top bit with a roundover bit now, and all the blue tape is covering up the black finish. I can't decide what I'm going to do. I might just paint it black, or I might leave it wood tone. I don't know. We'll figure that out next. Okay, so after about an hour with the Dremel tool and a flap wheel, here's what I've come up with. On the outside, I've got this pristine finish of a standard Les Paul shape, and on the inside is this janky, asymmetrical, weird kind of organic chewed up wood, bare wood on the inside. But overall, I think it came out pretty cool. It's exactly kind of what I wanted, and I did shave a full 2 pounds off of the body. Now, I was trying to figure out, well, how am I going to finish it? I don't want to paint over the existing finish that's still good. I thought, what a better way to kind of bring out the contrast between the outer finish and the inner kind of beat up wood, but I'm going to age the wood with a vinegar and steel wool stain. So this is white vinegar that's had steel wool sitting in it for a couple of months actually, and it's dissolved all the steel wool in there, when you put this stuff, I've used this for guitar finishes before, you put this stuff on any new bare wood and it will oxidize the wood and make it look old and gray really quickly. So we're gonna throw on some, and it almost happens instantaneously, like within a couple hours. I'm gonna throw that on here and see what it looks like. Probably be ready to build it up tomorrow. I could tonight if I wanted to, but gosh, this not bad for a afternoon's work. And I think I'm gonna have something really original. See what it looks like. Okay, so here is the finished product. I really love the contrast between the unfinished wood on the interior and the finished wood on the exterior. In fact, the sander sealer layer of the finish left kind of like a gold highlight that goes around the two, which makes it kind of an interesting look too. It's much, much lighter, at least 2 pounds lighter than it was before. In the bridge position, I have one of these transducing pickups. Essentially, it's a piezo type pickup from the bridge that is a tunematic bridge. It sits right on the standard posts. Got this off Amazon, one of these off the Amazon. I got a few of them, obviously, for I think they were like $10 at most. I will tell you, I got it plugged into my little 1 watt amp, and it does not give a great sound. It's very tinny and kind of rough. I guess if you ran it through a filter, it could make a good acoustic sound. But for travel purposes, plugging one of these little headphone amps, one of these guys, into the end, and then using some of the effects, dialing it in, it gives you something perfectly usable if you wanted even a little bit of distortion or some effects on there. So just a few comments about traveling with a guitar. You know, there's this strange niche kind of market for travel guitars that have been around for a long time. And if you've seen my videos, I've even built a few of them myself in the past, all kind of designed that they can be broken down and like stuck into a suitcase. But if you know your rights, you might realize that the FAA allows you to bring a guitar onto an airplane as long as there's room on the airplane when you board. It should always, the FAA has to allow you to bring it on board. Now, I keep this, which is just a little blurb that I downloaded off the internet about the FAA rules, and I keep it in my guitar bag just in case anyone decides to challenge me on it. But let me, and I haven't read this in years. Let me read it to you. But the Department of Transportation Administrative Rules for Musical Instruments went into effect as required by the FAA Modernization and Reform Act of 2012. Doesn't that sound very official? There are links I'll put a link, however you do that, I'll put a link in the comments about where to find the text of this. But the regulation establishes a uniform national policy regarding musical instruments as carry-on and checked baggage on U.S. air carriers, flying domestically and internationally. Airlines must accommodate musical instruments as carry-on items as long as there is room available in the overhead bin or under-seat area at the time of boarding, and the instrument can be safely stowed. So the take-home point of that is you don't want to be the last guy getting on the plane. If there's no room left in the overhead bins, you're probably out of luck. And you probably don't want to try this when you're flying standby and stuff. But think about printing something like that, putting it in your case. I've been carrying full-size guitars for the last 3 or 4 years now. Never had anyone comment to me about it once, but I'm ready if they do. Anyway, hope you like this edition of the fine line between stupid and clever, and my new travel guitar. Don't bother subscribing. I've got a real job. Go ahead and like if you want. Send me a comment. Just be nice. See you next time.